Have you ever wondered how Carrier has maintained the number one spot as a manufacturer in the HVAC industry? The way that they stay industry leaders is by focusing on new technologies and products in order to always stay at the cutting edge. I was able to sit down with Heidi, who is a product expert at Carrier, earlier this year to talk about some of these new technologies. And some of them are mind-boggling. Hi, this is Kenneth with Atlas AC. And at any point during this video, if you find it to be insightful, please hit the like button, and that will really help me out with the YouTube algorithms. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Heidi. So what are some of the key technologies and I guess features, designs that you guys do a little bit differently that keeps you guys so high in quality and just kind of like be able to compete at that high level?
Yeah, we've got three specific ones that I really want to highlight with you today. So the first is our 19 patent pending new evaporator coil, our Vertex technology coil. We designed that with the 2023 regulations in mind. It has helped make sure that we can meet the footprint of the evaporator coil and make sure that even though we are a sear point efficient, more efficient now, that evaporator coil didn't grow. So we wanted to make sure that when you go into an 8-foot basement that doesn't have a whole lot of room, it's easier to make sure those evaporator coils can get in there, be installed, and get that higher efficiency that's now required. So we're super excited about that technology. The other great part about the technology, though, is the serviceability and install. And that's really a theme throughout everything that we do as we're designing and speccing out what the new products should be, is how do we make sure we keep that technician in mind? And with this case, it's, the front cover comes off and it's easy to get in there and clean the coil. So that means better air quality for the homeowners, and the technicians can get in there and actually do a really thorough job of cleaning that coil to make sure that not only is the air quality better, but the efficiency is maintaining and staying high throughout the life of the product. So we're really excited about that Vertex technology. One of the other, the second one that I want to talk about is our near field communication that we're introducing in our gas furnaces. So with that near field communication, a technician can actually, without the furnace even being powered, walk up to the unit, take the front cover off, and kind of like tap to pay, not kind of, it is basically the same technology as tap to pay. They can walk up, tap their phone to that control board, and they can program it for what's needed in that house. So they can tap it, they can set all of the settings they need, and then tap it again, and it'll load all of that onto the board for them. So especially for builders and new construction and things, or contractors that do a lot in that industry, it's a really great technology because they can go have one specific program that they know for that layout of a home. And
so they can just duplicate it.
They could just duplicate it. And I mean, they could either have them all lined up because they're doing 4 houses that day and boom, 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 do them before they leave the shop. And so then your installer is going to be able to go a lot faster. The other great thing is after the system's been installed and operating, they can actually go up and touch it and see fault codes and see operational.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, does it help self-diagnose?
It helps with the fault codes and things, right? So they can touch it and they can actually see then what the fault codes are that we're running on it to help them with those diagnostics instead of standing on their head trying to see what the fault code says.
Right, okay. I mean, it would make it a lot easier to diagnose the system.
Yeah.
Because, folks listening to this, when a technician comes out to diagnose a system, they're starting with nothing. Yeah. And so they're having to check the thermostat, going outside, versus just coming out there or going to, the furnace. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's an error code. And that now they know exactly where to go and, kind of what to do. The other thing that I want to go back to is that EVAC coil. And you said it was Vertex technology.
Yeah.
And isn't that one where it's not necessarily a circular hole, where it's more like, a longer?
Yeah,
is that what
it's
it is?
more
So for
channels.
more surface,
Yeah.
for more surface area.
Yeah, it's a lot more open than the traditional technology that was used and is used still today in a lot of the evaporator coils that are on the inside of a house. Okay. And so it's channels that are let the refrigerant run through it, and then there's fins that go in between those channels.
Okay.
So it's very open on all sides, which allows the airflow to distribute across the whole coil. And then it also actually has reduced the pressure drop that we see over that coil, which helps with that increased static pressure.
Okay, very nice. So like also folks at home, the size of the system is like highly important if y'all don't know, like especially from a replacement standpoint, because once a coil gets over, let's say 21 inches, most attic doors or attic space openings go up to 21 inches. And then once the equipment gets bigger than that, we're having to pull the attic ladder, the same thing in closets, things like that. It turns into a really big headache. So like the magic number has always been like smaller than 21 inches. And, but yeah, size is a very, very important thing. And we're seeing that from like, and I don't have to go into it too much details, but like from some other manufacturers where we're like, once we get to the 4 and 5 tons, like it's 24 inches, and that's just rough. Like,
yeah, and what else we saw was, because we took the system approach and we looked at that indoor coil, we looked at the furnace. So not only did we add NFC, but we improved the number of blower speeds. So we lead with 18 blower speeds now, industry leading. But doing those improvements helped the outdoor unit as well, because it's rated as an entire system. And so by doing that, that outdoor unit actually was able to maintain smaller footprints as well. So 100% of our ACs are actually 31 inches or smaller, which I'm going to pull from you. For the homeowners out there, a backyard gate is typically 32 inches or wide.
Yeah.
And so that allows the installers to be able to get it through those backyard gates a lot easier without having to potentially have to lift it over a fence, which is never good. So we're very proud too that because of that system approach, we were able to keep the outdoor footprint from growing as well.
do you know, like Goodman, it's huge, like 30% bigger. Like it's massive.
Yeah, we're industry leading in the size of the minimum efficiency units. Even the ones that have maintained the height and width, or the width and depth, they got a lot taller. What we're seeing too.
I do think y'all did a really good job of, because like now we can keep loading them up easy. We can get them out.
Yeah.
We can maneuver them.
Yeah, it plays into a lot of things. So transportation, the more you can fit on a truck, the less transportation is going to cost, right? It all plays into things like price increases.
Oh, that is true.
Because
on y'all side, y'all are trucking it around. I was just thinking it from our, like, can it fit in the van?
Yeah,
can
it
it
fit
out
in
of
the
the
van?
van?
But then even from your distributor standpoint, right? Can they fit the same number in their warehouse that they could before? If it dramatically increases footprint, now your warehousing and distribution footprint has to grow as well, or you're reducing the amount of inventory you have available for your dealers. So there's a lot of implications and benefits to having that smaller footprint for sure.
Huh. Yeah, that is definitely some areas that I didn't think about. I was just thinking about being selfish like me.
But that's my job, right? Is we got to make sure that we are thinking about all of you and everybody that has to touch it and in between, and make sure that we're meeting all of those expectations as we have to handle all of these different changes.
Yeah, because you have 4 different groups to please, because you got to make sure that the design works for regulation, and then like yourself, because you got to make money at the end of the day, and then you got your distributors, and then you got the contractors like me, and then you got the homeowners. It's just a lot of consideration points.
It is. But going back to the efficiency of the technician, and you were talking about with that NFC, how great that is for the technician when they come out and troubleshoot. That actually leads to my third technology that I wanted to talk about that helps differentiate us. We are actually this year launching on our Performance Series products new technology called IntelliSense. And IntelliSense, basically what it's doing is it's adding sensors to the outdoor and the indoor units. And with our Ecobee by Carrier thermostat that is on the wall, it's actually sending all of that information back to the portal so the dealer can see what's going on and get fault codes and error codes and see what's happening on that equipment before they even show up to the site. Then on top of that, when they go to the site, they can go to that specific house and they can see superheat and subcool as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So instead of being completely blind, you can step in and on. Now, traditionally, that type of information has been on higher tier products.
Right. That's
only.
what I was going to say. Yeah.
And so we've had that for a number of years and to great success. Technicians love it. Homeowners love that a technician can actually monitor the system remotely. But we're bringing that now into the mid-tier products, those performance series products. So we're going to be able to touch a lot more homes and broaden the horizon for that.
Okay. No, that's awesome, because that's going to save a lot of time and energy for a technician, because versus, again, wandering around, because some of those diagnoses can take an hour or two just to track down a very complicated problem. And if you can go up to something and it's already kind of signaling what to look at, that's going to save a lot of time.
Yeah, as well as without having to put gauges on. So you can see superheat and subcool before you put the gauges on, which is a huge time saver, as well as it potentially prevents introducing additional problems, right? So if you get liquid into that line while you're trying to hook up the hoses and see what's going on, and then it's not evacuated properly, it can cause more problems. So it really, I think, it's game-changing technology. And for you homeowners out there, make sure that you are letting your dealer see that information, because that's truly key to the whole system. Is if the homeowner isn't allowing that information to be shared back to the dealer's not going to be able to see any of it. So as a homeowner, make sure you're enabling it. As a dealer, make sure you're talking to your homeowners about the value and benefit of doing that, because it like I said, it's game-changing technology, and it is going to make a lot of people very happy with their HVAC. And there's nothing more frustrating than right, with your car being like, it's doing this, and then it doesn't do it when the mechanic gets it, right? And so this will give the dealer insight into history of what's been running, what's been happening. And so while maybe it won't pinpoint every single exact problem, it's going to give a lot more information at their hands, instead of a dealer technician trying to just figure it out when they show up and hope it's doing the same thing that day. And if it's not a hot day, it might not be doing it.
Right.
And that's part of the problem too. And so now they'll get to see some of that history and have a lot better chance of diagnosing it right the first time.
No, that's really cool. No, that's going to be exciting. And when is that coming out?
The thermostat is actually launching now. And then the second half of this year, we'll be introducing the 2-stage AC and heat pump that have it. And then the indoor fan coils and furnaces will be coming out second half of this year as well.
Okay, so right around the corner.
Yeah, it's coming out this year, so be ready.
Awesome. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to check out the full podcast. If you're a homeowner, you might want to check out our website, where we have free buyer's guides and many other useful tools. Until next time, have a good one.